Hey there, Tracy, paying it forward on this happy Mindful Monday. How you guys doing? All right, cool. Well, I'm going to kick off a four-parter here um, using the one of my favorite all-time books, might be one of yours too. I'm sure you've heard of it. The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I would say that's probably would be where that book kind of really started me off on really honing in on being mindful, really looking at being aware, right? Being aware of what it is I'm saying and doing and reacting and why, just kind of standing back and being an observer. So I would say it would be that book was kind of the kickoff for me in mindfulness. And if you are unaware or have just forgotten, the four agreements are as follows. Number one, be impeccable with your word. Number two, don't take anything personal. Number three, don't make assumptions. And number four, always, always, always do your best. So there they are, the four agreements, and they're just really huge to think about them every single day. There's always an opportunity for us to bring some mindfulness and be aware whether or not we're following those four agreements. And they seem like four simple ones, but when you start to kind of delve into it, you see how it just really saturates everything and every day. So let's take number one today, okay? So be impeccable with your word. And I have to admit, I had to look up impeccable when I first saw this because I was just like, what does that really mean? So impeccable, looking at all the different definitions, come from like being free from mistakes, free from faults, free from blame. Some other ones go into the sin part, that's not capable of sinning or liable to sin. And then in other ones, it talks about just being in accordance with the highest of standards. Okay, so being impeccable with your word. It really means to speak with integrity, right? And that right there, integrity, right, is a big one. And it's I like how they go on to say that it's not just about with ourselves, but towards others, right? To avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. So going back to integrity a little bit, I liked what they had said here. Got to use the little cheaters about... This was a little shocking because this is actually the companion book. So if you've already read the book or you haven't, please do. And, you don't have to buy them all the time. I got the link down below. But, there's a library and they are free, so check them out. And a lot of times they have them on, the ebooks or even on Audibles. So you don't need to go and spend money. You can get all this information. And even online, I think... there's the Toltec wisdom. I'll put the link in the bottom there too. So if you want to read it online, you can do that as well, or at least get the gist of it. So this was something that, again, this is the companion book. So it kind of delves into each of them a little bit more and has exercises and stuff and things, reflection. And if you like doing journal work and stuff, it's really cool. So this was one that kind of hit me and I had highlighted it. You can measure the impeccability of your word by the level of self-love. How much you love yourself and how you feel about yourself are directly proportionate to the quality and integrity of your word. I wasn't too pleased when I read that because I know I do have some issues with self-love. And, that's that thing where, I can speak a lot nicer to other people. And yet the things I say to myself, I would never say to anyone else, including somebody I didn't like, which is really out of integrity, wouldn't you say? And we all do it. I mean, number one, take it when you get up in the morning and you look at yourself in the mirror, or you pass a mirror just at any point of the day. And, I'll do it to myself about, whether it's the hair, the grays there, the wrinkles, just all of it, and that is that self-talk that is so out of, integrity with ourselves. And I would say it's, one thing we all overlook in a huge way about what we say to ourselves. In the companion book, it also goes on to say about, being careful of, expressions and stuff that we say without really thinking about what we're saying to ourselves. Like, I'm getting too old for this. I'm sick and tired of doing that. I'm dying to. I can't afford to. You're a pain in the neck or a pain in the, I'm good. Why don't you drop dead? I wish you would get lost. I'm going to kill him, or, you're killing me. These things that we say too are not actually in alignment with integrity, and they're doing nothing about building us up. So it's really checking those little things that we say. When we mess up and we call ourselves, a dumbass or, stupid or something like that, right? I don't really say that to other people. And if you do, you need to check yourself too, right? Let's see, where else was I going with this? Okay, about gossiping. That's a big, huge one. And I know that's hard in the workplace too, because there's always somebody talking about someone else. And even we do it ourselves when we're just like not even thinking. It's like, well, what was what the hell's wrong with her today? What's wrong with her? And maybe it comes from a place of, what's wrong, but then it opens the door for everybody to, throw in a whole bunch of other stuff that they may have hangups with that person, right? So I like how it says, gossip is black magic because it spreads emotional poison, perpetuates fear, and keeps others down. So at first it may be difficult to avoid gossip entirely, but eventually you will see how breaking the agreement to gossip will transform your life. So that's a huge one. I know that, let's see. The gist of it too is just using the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. And a lot of times we get caught up with our word too, with our opinions, our thoughts, our beliefs, right? And, they make arguments with other people. A lot of times, I like this here. When we believe something, we assume we are right about it to the point that we will destroy relationships in order to defend our position. And isn't that truth? I've seen that. I've seen that in my family. And I know I'm guilty of it to a certain extent too. I've done things where, I'm just like, that person is wrong. I've condemned them. And that's, case in point. And, that's it. Judge, jury, and that's not really integrity. That's really not speaking into somebody else's, power and truth. And I like how Lisa Nichols says when I did her Speak and Inspire, she really talked about this because your words are so powerful and you don't realize it. You can either build somebody up or you can tear them down. And we all know what that feels like if we've had like a teacher who said something to us, or a coach, or even somebody on the, on the school grounds calling you a name or something, and it just kind of stays with you and hurts. So remembering too that your opinion is nothing but your point of view, and it is not necessarily true. That is your opinion, right? And being impeccable with your word is the correct use of your energy, and it means to use your energy in the direction of truth and love for yourself and others. So there you go. Let's see. So I'm going to wrap this up. There's lots of ways of, really investigating when we're saying stuff. So how about this? Be mindful today and maybe for the rest of the week until we come back for number 2. But really be mindful. Put some awareness on what you're saying, what's going out there. Did you really mean that? Or was that just something that just came out? Are you just agreeing with other people? Or is that really what you believe? And even what you believe, is that really, is it true? And is there not another way to look at it? Is it worth getting in an argument over and, just pushing other people away with an opinion that you have? So at the end of that chapter, it's got this great little thing, an agreement to be impeccable with my word. And just really short, something for you to think about is, you're making an agreement here and you write on the little lines. I don't know if you can see it. But this agreement is made on the date for the purpose of increasing my happiness and personal freedom. I am responsible for creating my personal dream of heaven on earth, and it begins with the power of my word. I choose to be impeccable with my word. I promise to honor myself, to speak with integrity, and to choose my words carefully. I intend to use the power of my word in the direction of truth and love. I will pay attention to how I use the word. I will take action every day to keep my word impeccable, and I will repeat this action until the habit is firmly established and no longer requires my attention. So there you go, you guys. A little bit of attention on what comes out of your mouth. And guess what? Sometimes it's better just to keep it zipped and get that masking tape out. All right? Or probably some duct tape would probably be better. Anyway, you guys have a great, happy Monday, and be mindful and bring it into your everyday. Have a great week, okay? Take care and see you next week.